Video. Hello. So we have got Mizuno 241, the new, or back end of last year, this got brought out last year. 241 Mizuno Pro MB versus Taylormade P7 MB, the actual irons that I own. So what we are going to do today is we're on Foresight already. We're going to hit some shots, probably about 10 shots with each club. And then we're going to have a comparison. We're going to have a look at the numbers. So before we get into anything else, just to tell you about a few specs on these clubs. Both got the Project X 6.0 shafting. They are both standard length. They are both the same lie angle, 2 degrees upright. The only difference is that the Taylormade P7MB is 1 degree weaker than the Mizuno. So distance-wise, that may play a little bit of an influencing factor. I'm predicting these are going to be ever so slightly shorter, but we shall soon find out. These both an iron that I would definitely consider using. I very much like the looks of both. Again, only other slight differences grip-wise. So we've just got a standard one, standard lambkin on this Mizuno, whereas we've got the ever-present Decade multi-compounds on these. So let's go Mizuno first. The golf ball that we're using today, we are going to use a brand new Titleist Pro V1X RCT. Like I said, we're on GC3. We've got it all set up. Let me get a flag out there. Let's put a flag at 165, 170. And then we shall hit some shots, and then we'll compare the data. 169, that sounds good. Right, looking forward to this. I'm not saying that these have got a chance of getting into my bag because I do really like my Taylormades, but they are an incredibly good-looking club, aren't they? I've done other videos where I spoke about the specs in a little bit deeper. I also think I've done a full video on my Taylormade iron set. So if you're unsure of the spec, you know, what these irons are all about, very much a player's club, very... I would say unforgiving. They're not bad. Blades have got like pretty good in the last few years, especially we're having these new ideas of weight being distributed in the hidden cavity that we've got here. They ain't no cavities. These are both blades, but there's a little bit more out back there nowadays now for the off-center strike. So let's see how we get on. Oh, that's a great start. I have just been warming up on TikTok earlier. So no excuses for poor shots like that. Any really bad ones that I hit, I'm probably just going to cut out when we come to the data at the end. The starts go, though, that was not a convincing one. Let's have a couple. Let's get somewhat warmed up. Might do 5, 5, 5, 5, that kind of thing. That were a bit of a better strike. There we go. Did not mind that one. So hello, if you are watching. If this is your first time on the channel, please make sure you're doing the usuals of liking, sharing, subscribing. Just going to cut that first shot out if I can. In fact, I'm going to keep it there so that we've got the data and we're aware of it. But when it comes to the comparison at the end, as I look through the figures, I'm probably going to somewhat ignore those poorer strikes. Fingers crossed there's not too many of them. Touch heavy again. Definitely lost a little bit of distance on those slightly higher strikes in the face, as you would expect. These are irons that aren't geared towards forgiveness and all that kind of stuff. So if you get these wrong, sadly, you won't get yourself to blame. That were a full strike. That was pretty middled. 170 carry on that one. How are we looking for spin? 6,000. Pretty good. Pretty good. Right, one more, and then I'm going to go into the Taylormade MBs. The reason I'm going to do it this way is because I don't want there to be a recency bias. I don't want to hit 10 poor ones now, and as I get more warmed up, move into the Taylormade and start hitting that good. So 5, 4 times round, 2 with each. Because of those occasional missed strikes, we might obviously have more than 10 shots each, but we'll see when we get to it. Not a good strike, just pushed it. Let's go one more, just because of those 2 slightly poorer strikes from earlier. That were a good hit. Is it drawing back? It's trying. That were better. If you are in the live chat, say hello. I've not got my laptop out checking the chat this morning, but we can have a look at what you guys are saying. Wicked. Right, now let's get it into the Taylormade MBs. So change this over. Tags. Take this one off. Call it own. Lovely. Right, same again. 5 shots. Be interested to see what comes out of this test here. See how close or how far away these irons are. Right, so first impressions definitely felt a little bit heavier, mine. Definitely. 170 carry, 5,600 spin. So just a little bit shy of that 6,000 mark. I would often expect these to be a little bit more spinning than this as well, and we have got a spinny golf ball in the Titleist Pro V1X too. That might just be hung out there a little bit. Just not quite drawing back. Target-wise, got it set on medium. So make of that what you will. All right, 3 more. Fingers crossed there's no poor strikes. That were a bit thin. So I was in a slight decrease in spin that time. That's unusual. It's right on target though. Didn't mind that one. 2 more. That were the slightly heavy, poorer one again, but that seemed to retain a bit more distance, that. Obviously not up there at like the 165 number that I'd be expecting, but didn't lose too much. You're only 161 that time. Profile-wise, let me show you both of these as well. So they are quite similar looking, although I would say, Taylormade on the right, Mizuno on the left, I would say that Mizuno, if anything, the blade length is a fraction longer. That's one thing I've noticed with these Taylormade MBs on the right. The blade length is very small, no offset really. Top line wise, you can't really see it from there, but pretty similar. Maybe a little bit thicker in the Mizuno, if anything. So not much between them at all. Both very good feeling irons as well. They do both feel great. That was thin. 156. Not bad. I think dispersion-wise, we're going to see similarities as well. Just thought I saw something on the golf ball then, but it's not too bad. Right, back into the Mizunos. Right, I think I had it under Pro 169. Let's go for that again. Slight technical glitch. We might have to just look at the data set a little bit differently when we come to finish, but we should be good. Yeah, there definitely seems to be a little bit of a weight distance, despite having the exact same shaft in both of these. So that's interesting. Both Project X 6.0s, both I think 130 grams these shafts. So that could be a little bit further left, that one. Just close the face a bit too much. It says that as it's straight online. That's good. One big thing that we're going to see when we come to look at the data at the end of this test is that the front and back dispersion gapping, obviously pending horrendous strikes, you don't really see too much difference in longer shots and shorter shots, which is what these clubs are all about. That's pushed. Not bad though, not bad at all. Do like these. The only reason I can think as to why they feel a little bit different weighting wise is because as we've got this adapter there, this ugly looking thing, obviously the complete irons don't have this on the side. This is just for fitting purposes. But as we've got that, maybe they've shaved a little bit of weight to account for screws going into the heads and stuff like that. So it's interesting. Right, 2 more good ones. And then we'll get the Taylormade back in. That weren't a Sunday best strike, but it was pretty good. 168.6. Spin 6,100, 6,200 on that occasion, so that's a little bit more like it. 34 degrees this, 35 the Taylormade. That has been checked and verified on my loft and line machine as well, so they were 5 good shots. Shortest distance being that lasting, 166. Furthest being 171.2, so pretty impressive, pretty robust. Right, back in with mine. Right, last 5 shots, and then we'll have a look at that data. Expecting similarities between these two. Definitely heavier. Definitely. So I don't know whether that's a head weight thing. It's got to be, because I can't see there being too much difference from grip to grip. That's the only swing weight thing that I can think of if it's not the shaft. Shaft, just to prove to you guys that they are exactly the same. Don't know how clearly you can see that. Project X 6.0, and again Project X 6.0 in the Mizuno. Will it get that? Kinda, nearly, good enough. The exact same shafts. 169.1, again, just where I want to see it. Touch heavy. Lost a little bit of spin, gone down to 5,500 that time. 170 carry. Like a mini flyer, that one. And that's my favourite thing about clubs of this nature, is that even though that were a little bit heavy, that's as bad as it's going to get. It's literally gone 1 yard further than what we've been seeing and spun 500 revs less. That was a good shot. 171, 5,900 spin. Interesting. Leave me a comment in the section below. What are your thoughts between these two clubs? Have you had a chance to test blades of this nature? What do you think to them? Are you gaming them? If you're not gaming them, why not? If you are gaming them, you know, would you be interested in using something else? We do fittings down here at the Club Doncaster. We're able to get Mizuno, Taylormade, Callaway, Ping, all supplied from Mickleton Golf Club. So if you'd like a fitting, the link is in the description below. Just not coming back as much, that one. Pretty good though. Right, last shot, and then we shall look at some data. They've all been solid strikes though, that's the main thing. 6,200 spin that time, so a little bit more. Touch more toey that time. So just lost a little bit of ball speed, down to 164 carry. Yeah, still catching that green. Okay, cool. Right then, let's have a look at this data. I'm just going to change the positioning of the camera. Let's see what we've got going on. Lovely. So here we go. Those all important numbers. I'll just move it a touch closer, just so you guys can see it a bit clearer. I'll talk you through it on the camera, and then I'll scroll up. So, right, we had the Pro 241s are under 79 Pro, and my own Taylormade MBs are under 790. So first time round, we saw ball speeds of 120 mile an hour. We saw a launch angle of 17.6, spins of 6,100, and carries of 169. First time round with my clubs, we saw ball speeds of 116, so a little bit slower. We saw launch angles almost exactly the same. Spin rates a little bit lower, which is quite unusual considering these are a little bit more lofted, and carry distances 5 yard shorter. That's just by changing it a degree, that as well, so that's interesting. Then when we look at the second round, so I've had 5 balls with each and then did that twice. 116.7, so a little bit slower that time round. That could possibly be due to strikes. Launch angle of 18, exact same again. All these launch angles have been nigh on exactly the same. Spins 5,700, so not as spinny as the first time, but still in that same ballpark. Carries of 164. So that we're going to say averaging about 167. And then we got an offlineness of plus 0.6, so minimally offline. We'll look at some dispersion circles shortly as well. And then second time now with my Taylormade, 119, so a little bit faster off the face. Launch angle 18.6. Spin rate's 5,900, so they're all about 6,000 on the averages. Carry 168, so again, averaging 167-ish. 166, whereas the Mizuno averaged 167, so minimal differences in them as we first expected. Let's have a look at these dispersion circles now. So a little bit of a scattering. Ideally, could have done with color coding in there. For every one of these lines being in that direction, that's only 5 yards, so it probably looks a little bit worse than it actually is. So yeah, that was Mizuno 241, these, versus Taylormade MBs over that batch of testing right there, when we've gone 5 shots with each, then 5, then 5, then 5, and kept swapping it about just to ensure there were no recency bias. Average carries we're looking at 166 versus 167. Average spins, we're looking at about 5,900 revs across the board. Average launch angle, 18 degrees across the board. Average ball speed, we are looking at 117 for each club. A little bit of standard deviation just due to the strikes. I think the only real difference from these clubs, obviously from a feel point of view, they both feel incredible. Weighting wise, I noticed a difference. I did think that the Taylormade felt a little heavier than the Mizunos, which is not something that I'd normally associate, especially when we've got the same shaft in those golf clubs. Yeah, the only little difference on occasions, probably due more in part to missed strikes, more due to do with me, lost a little bit of ball speed, a little bit of carry distance, not striking the Taylormade out the middle of the face, but over a bigger sample size, we started to notice that these are getting extremely close to each other. Yeah, that loft being 1 degree out as well also caused a tiny distance leak in the Taylormades, but the more shots we hit, the more we started to see them get closer together. So if you're unsure as to whether to buy either of these 2 irons, both absolutely fantastic clubs. I think a lot of it boils down to feel. This Mizuno, I have looked at this club in further depth, so make sure you're going across to my channel and checking out those videos. Taylormade, I've been using these for the longest time now. I've got an MB and CB combo set, so that's definitely something that I would be considering if I were you guys, especially if you're the better player, better ball striker, all that kind of stuff. So that is pretty much it from me today. I've got some more Mizuno videos coming, so stay tuned for those. I've enjoyed that. Hope you guys have too. Apart from that, I will catch you in the next one. Later.